Hello. Today we are going to discuss the transverse section of the roots present in a dicot and a monocot plant. First, let's look at some of the common features which are present in the roots of dicot and monocot plant. Both of them will show the outermost layer of cells called the epiblemma. You can also call this layer as epidermis. Now, some of the layers of the epiblemma form root hairs. Remember, these root hairs are unicellular. Beneath the epidermis or the epiblemma lies the cortex. The cortex is made up of several layers of thin-walled parenchyma cells with intercellular spaces. Next, we have the endodermis. The cells of the endodermis are made up of a single layer of barrel-shaped cells having thick deposition of suberin. Suberin does not allow water molecules to pass through. Underneath the endodermis lies several layered thick living cells of pericycle. Remember, pericycle is living and made up of parenchyma cells in the roots. This requires special attention since pericycle of stems are made up of dead cells. Now let's look at the dicot root more closely. As you can see, the epidermis, also known as the epiblemma, is the outermost layer with unicellular root hairs. You can see the unicellular root hairs over here. The several layers which are present underneath the epidermis is known as the cortex, and it is made up of thin-walled parenchyma cells with lots of intercellular spaces. You can see intercellular spaces over here, here, and here. So there are lots of intercellular spaces present among the parenchyma cells, which makes up the cortex. The innermost layer of the cortex is known as the endodermis. The innermost layer is known as the endodermis, and as we discussed a few minutes back, the endodermis is made up of barrel-shaped cells and they have a deposition of suberin. They have a deposition of a waxy substance which is known as suberin, and this does not allow water molecules to pass through. So it is water impermeable. It does not allow water molecules to pass through. After the endodermis, you have several layers of pericycle, and the pericycle is made up of thick-walled parenchyma cells. Now, as I said, you have to remember this, that these are made up of living cells, living parenchyma cells, and they have two very important functions. So the two functions of pericycle is, number one, it gives rise to lateral roots, So the lateral roots which arises in dicot roots is from the pericycle. And the second very important function of pericycle is it helps in the formation of the vascular cambium. So when the vascular cambium develops and it gives rise to the secondary xylem and the secondary phloem, that also helps in the secondary growth of the dicot root. So the pericycle has two very important functions, and one of the first function is it helps in giving rise to the lateral roots, and second is it helps in the formation of the vascular cambium and eventually will help in the secondary growth. Next we come to vascular bundle, which of course consists of xylem and phloem. Other parenchymatous cells present between the xylem and phloem are known as conjunctive tissue. There are usually 2 to 4 patches of xylem and phloem present in the vascular bundle of a dicot root, which gives it a star-shaped appearance. So you can see there are 4 xylem bundles over here, and it usually gives a star-shaped appearance. So if you see closely, it will give a star-shaped appearance to the xylem bundle which is present in the dicot root. Also, in the roots, the protoxylem is present towards the outside. So the protoxylem with narrower vessels, they are present towards the outside, and the metaxylem with broader vessels, they are present towards the inside of the vascular bundle. This condition is known as an exarch condition, where the protoxylem is present towards the outside and the metaxylem is present towards the inside. This condition is known as an exarch condition. I have already made a video on the vascular bundles in details. Do check that out to know more about the different types of vascular bundles. The innermost part of the vascular bundle is called pith. So this part is known as pith. This part is known as pith, which is small and inconspicuous in case of dicot roots. Remember the pericycle, the xylem, the phloem and the pith together is known as the stele. So stele is a word which we use for pericycle, the vascular bundles and the pith together. Now let's come to monocot root. You can easily find out the common features of epidermis, root hairs, cortex, endodermis and pericycle. But remember, no secondary growth takes place in monocot plants. So pericycle does not help in the secondary growth. However, there are more than 6 xylem bundles in the monocot root. You can see this clearly over here. So there are approximately 6 or more than 6 xylem bundles which are present over here, which gives it an appearance of a sun rays kind of an arrangement. So remember, in dicot root it was like a star shaped appearance. The xylems were arranged in a star shaped appearance, and in a monocot root the xylem bundles are arranged in a sun rays shaped appearance. Pith is also quite large as compared to that of dicot root, and the pith is also quite well developed as compared to the dicot root. Now let's quickly revise the differences between the dicot root and the monocot root. The dicot root has 2 to 4 xylem bundles called a tetrarch arrangement, giving it a star-shaped appearance, while the monocots on the other hand have a polyarch arrangement with at least 6 xylem bundles present. The pith in the dicot roots are small, while that of monocot roots are large and conspicuous. So with that, we just about complete the topic of transverse section of dicot and monocot roots. Till the time we meet again, keep working hard and keep learning. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel of Biology for Life for more colorful videos. Bye.